My name's Kris Boudreau from Vermont, French Canadian. Joined in '91 after high school. I was third generation Navy. My mom's dad was in World War II. My dad was in Vietnam, and then me. And then just recently I found out my dad's dad was in World War II Army, National Guard from Vermont. And I was in just short of 3 years before I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in Charleston, South Carolina. My parents said they're not going to pay for college, so I didn't know what I was going to do. So after high school, and I had my head on my shoulders. I scored a 99 on my ASVAB, and the recruiter was hounding me to be a nuclear engineer. I didn't want to go that route, so we also offered electronic warfare, which was more my pace. I'm good with patterns, and it was about numbers and threat recognition. I have a good memory, and I can put things together. So I went with that route of electronic warfare. I scored, I was first in my class in Pensacola, where I went to school at Corey Station in '91. And then I was stationed on the USS Mooseburger, which was a Spruance class destroyer in Charleston, South Carolina, before they closed the base in '94 when I got out. Before I got out, we went over to Europe on a NATO cruise, and we saw some action in the Mediterranean. I feel actually more fulfilled because I have that to look back on and reflect that it was the right decision. Even though I'm in this position now, I'm able to empathize with people. As soon as I got out of the military, I didn't really have a job. I did customer service because we're all customers, and I was able to relate with people. And I made it high up at T-Mobile in the early 2000s. After 5 years, I graduated from Western up in Bellingham, got my bachelor's degree in general science studies, and I was hired by the VA, VBA in Seattle, for compensation veteran service rep. So I was able to help others get their compensation after their inflections or what have you that they got in service or after service due to their service. Not military based, but when Jimmy Buffett passed a couple months ago, I was having memories that the first time I ever heard Jimmy Buffett in my 20 years, or 19 years, because I was 19, when I first heard Jimmy on the shores of Roosevelt Roads, Puerto Rico. We were there on a training op, and we went to the exchange, Navy Exchange, and bought a bottle of 151 Coco Lopez coconut milk in the can and pineapple juice, and I got a Coleman thermos and mixed it all together with some ice and shook it. That was my blender. And we were drinking pina coladas on the beach in Puerto Rico, listening to Jimmy Buffett for the first time. And I posted it on Facebook, and actually my petty officer, my leading petty officer, who was a first class, responded to me. He was like, he remembers that day, but didn't remember the next day, but knew that it was a bad day. So that was probably one of my better days, just having that camaraderie, and it was fun, but we were still working and, able to balance the two, which I'm also a Taoist. I believe in balance in life and everything. You can't have extremes. You got to be in the middle to sustain yourself and others. One of my first tattoos after the Navy was yin and yang, which keeps me focused, and the Tao is the line between the light and the dark. Thus, Star Wars, everything, it's everywhere. So this is just a personal reminder for me. To serve my country is to serve my fellow humans, people. Yeah, Americans, but it's a melting pot. Not just Caucasians, it's every, I guess, race. We're Americans, yeah, but we're people first. And when I think now of what I'm doing with Kris Crew and just being an empath, which I realized I was after like 46, 47 years of the reason I experience the things I experience, feel the way I feel, why I stay in my room so much is because I'm being bombarded with all energy, be it positive or negative. There is, to the universe, there's no good or bad, it just is. So it takes my ego and my intuition to figure out, that it just is, and I need to ground myself and get back to myself to keep me centered and focused on everyone, that we're all in this together. This being whatever, be it COVID, after the COVID ended or whatever, mental health took a big nosedive, and just being able to relate with people and I like to, I'm a gardener of the mind. I like to say that I plant seeds of philosophy or wisdom, and it's not my responsibility for those seeds to sprout. It's the person's, they'll sprout when they're ready, and they'll be like, oh yeah, Kris said this or whatever. And one thing that has gotten me through my dark times is a meme that I saw right after I tried to commit suicide for the third time back in 2019 after some really dark times, because my meds weren't right. I just didn't know what was going on, and then I figured out I was an empath after. The meme was this pot that had a plant growing out of it, and it said it had a seed, and it's sometimes when you're in a dark place you think you've been buried, but you've actually been planted. So now I'm blossoming.
You're kind of continuing.
I'm continuing. I'm always serving. It's our purpose. We're here to learn, love, and teach. That's the meaning of the reason for existence. I think that's our purpose. And not be judgmental. Be curious, not judgmental. I think it's Walt Whitman said that, but Ted Lasso also said it.